Alrighty, we are 1/3 of the way done here with this whole character alignment series. We've talked about lawful and neutral good characters, and now we're finally throwing in some chaos into the mix. I think any character that just falls under chaotic, whether good or bad, is just a blast to watch, and are some of my favorite characters in all of fiction. Laws? What are those? I'm gonna do whatever makes me a hero. When it comes to chaotic good, these are the people who hate rules and pretty much abide to their own terms, as long as what they're doing is right. The rebels and free spirits who believe in the freedom to do good. Some may be balance seekers, trying to find a middle ground before causing mayhem, or they could just be plain nuts. And there are a bunch of examples to explain a chaotic good character. A pretty good aligned anarchist, a gentleman thief, a ragtag group of misfits, oh, and who couldn't forget? Now, of course, if you see my previous 2 entries on this series, you know I'm only focusing on animated characters, wherever they come from the big or small screen, including web animation too. So, let's not waste any time and kick off the top 10 chaotic good animated characters. Okay, I'm already gonna throw a curveball in here, as I don't think anyone would consider this character good by any means. Look, this character actually does have their heroic moments, but really, they are much more chaos than anything.
Huh? How can you enjoy it here?
It's a world of scheduled nap times, optional pants, and food you don't need to chew.
You just described a retirement home.
Exactly! I get to retire without ever having a job! I love this place.
Gumball is a blue cat who lives in Elmore, where the show revolves around his shenanigans and mishaps throughout its 6-season run. And boy, does Gumball have a lot of mishaps.
You're right, my disgusting friend. This warrants a celebratory boogie.
A mischief maker who can also be lazy at times, Gumball's morals are put into question whether or not he's doing the right thing or he's just being nice for his own benefit. Yeah, Gumball can be a jerk sometimes.
He left me hanging so I would get mad at him and would be forced to man up and end our friendship. What kind of a monster would do that? Well, apart from me.
But for the most time, Gumball uses his perks as a good thing. He may be snarky, but wants what is best for his friends and family, in particular Darwin, who is a friend and family.
We both like to have fun at the detriment of others! We should totally be friends.
Plus, Gumball shows to have a more positive light, while also being insane, like the time he tried to stop Claire from leaving Elmore by having Tina the T-Rex ran the bus. And who could not forget when he saves Rob, one of the show's biggest baddies, from falling into the void. He may be an anti-role model for children, but nevertheless, a good character who just happens to have his buffoonish moments.
Gumball wins fatality.
And then I kiss the girl.
Don't just think these characters are all gonna be reckless, bloodthirsty idiots who love destruction. Sometimes they could just be a bit of a goofball. We've all seen the idiot hero who's just there for the thrill of it all. You've got the bumbling dad, the undisciplined nice guy, and who couldn't forget the Cloud Cuckoo Lander. And our next pick qualifies for that title.
My name is Mabel, but you can call me the girl of your dreams. I'm joking!
The more ecstatic twin, Mabel is a lot more eccentric and excitable than her brother Dipper. Her extreme unpredictability is a defining trait of her character. Mabel doesn't like the idea of hurting people, whether friend or foe, but will absolutely go ballistic against some truly evil people like Gideon, who has a huge crush on her.
Listen, Gideon, it's over. I will never ever date you.
Yeah!
She won't let any rules stand in the way of what she believes is right. Let's not forget that iconic scene of her saving Grunkle Stan.
Uncle Stan?
6, 5.
I trust you.
Very quirky, creative, and optimistic, Mabel makes the best out of every situation, as long as it involves annoying Dipper just a bit.
This room is way creepy.
Not as creepy as Dipper's internet history. Hey!
Alright, I know putting in a character I had the least amount of knowledge of into a list like this is absurd. I mean, if I'm still fairly new to the franchise they're based on, and still have a long ways to go, I should have set this person out until I become fairly familiar with their personality. But, yet again, I'm also starting a new series with this franchise, and my progress throughout each season, so hey, why not throw a bone at the Rubber Band Man?
What is wrong with you two?
Who are you?
Me? Oh. My name's Monkey D. Luffy. Hi.
If you really think about it, any of the Straw Hat Pirates would have made it on this list. After all, the 5 members, yes I know there's more, I just finished the East Blue, of the pirates really show that they're ready to break the law at any point in time. I mean, they're pirates. Look at them. But come on, of all the members of the crew, Luffy is by far the most chaotic. Luffy really doesn't have a care in the world, and really just wants to sail the 7 seas with a great pirate crew searching for the titular One Piece. But being a pirate doesn't automatically make you bad. In fact, Luffy has helped a ton of people on his journey. That is, if he actually likes you. Take Kobe for example, the first person Luffy ever meets, and even though Kobe wants to train with the Marines, a sworn enemy of pirates in general, Luffy makes sure Kobe reaches that dream, and says he can't wait to see what he becomes. But, of course, there's also the crazy side to Luffy as well. Shooting his rubber body all over bad guys like Buggy and the Marine Smoker. And did I mention Luffy loves parties too? Look, the only thing going on in Luffy's straw-thinned mind is protecting his friends, and won't mind saving the world if they ever come across any danger.
Oh hey, it looks like you have something around your mouth there.
I forgot about the crumbs!
Knew it was you!
We're gonna take this next slot back in the early 90s, where almost everyone's favorite Disney era was taking place. If there was any animated studio that was dominating that decade, the Mouse had their greasy little hands, or I guess gloves, all over. One movie they put out around this time was based on the Arabic folktale from the collection 1001 Nights. You know the tale. A homeless man now has a chance to make 3 wishes from a genie to get what he wants, and ends up freeing the genie from the curse. Oh, I wonder who that could be. Yep, that's right, it's Timmy Turner.
And with those teeth. I mean, look at the size of those things. Hey, there's something you could have wished for. Human-sized teeth.
No, but in all seriousness.
Stop, thief! I'll have your hands for a trophy, street rat.
All this for a loaf of bread?
Aladdin is a fine, handsome young fellow who's got a kind heart and personality. So why on earth would he be considered chaotic? Well, for one, he is a thief. Look at this guy, stealing bread, taking apples. Heck, he still owes me 50 bucks on Cash App for goodness sake. Now this may make him a suave sneakster, but that's what he does to survive and make ends meet in the city of Agrabah. Luckily, he meets the genie in the lamp that grants him 3 wishes, and eventually defeats the evil sorcerer Jafar from controlling Agrabah, gets to wed the Princess Jasmine, and frees the genie from the cursed lamp.
Okay, I'm gonna go see her. I gotta be smooth, cool, confident.
You like jazz?
A real diamond in the rough, Aladdin shows a generous soul, and can still cause a little mischief if it helps benefit his survival.
Look at that, Abu! It's not every day you see a horse with 2 rear ends.
So, Aladdin, about that 50 bucks. Okay, this next pick was a little hard for me since our next show's 3 main characters all follow this alignment, and it's kinda hard to separate their actions by themselves. I mean, personality-wise, they have their differences. Younger sibling Dot loves attention as she prides on being cute, whereas Wacko loves to eat and definitely has that middle kid syndrome. And then, there's the oldest sibling, Yakko.
I guess you could say we have a new tenant.
Listen up, chump. You got a real problem, and it's me.
Are you suggesting I'm being Defy-Ant? I promise, no more antics.
Yakko is the fast-talking brother of the 3, being the most literate, taking the lead in conversations with other characters, not with a little bit of wisecrack in there for good measure.
Sibs, I believe we are experiencing the cultural phenomenon known as manspreading. Now then, you see, Dot, when a man...
Yakko and his siblings can flip through this or being a chaotic neutral too, since we barely see them actually doing any good things. Matter of fact, they care more about having fun and are actually a nuisance to most characters on the show. With that being said though, they will help anyone who feel they have been wronged, and will only get violent if their opponent is intentionally being a huge jerk. I guess Yakko kinda fits the chaotic side more than his younger siblings, with his sarcastic and cynical nature showing more of a rebellious side to him. But hey, think of this slot as a 3-way tie.
Hey, Zack Snyder, it's a 7-minute segment. Move it along.
This one may be cheating since the real first instance of this character was originally in the comics, then turned into a live-action movie starring Jim Carrey. And looking back at it, Jim Carrey really had a lot of box office smashes that turned into animated series. Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, but probably the best one in my opinion was The Mask, a CBS cartoon that ran for 3 seasons.
Ow! Oh, stop! Hey! Ow! Ow! I'm not that kind of mask! Hey! Watch that, fresh! Ow! Oh! He got me that time.
Hey, good one. Ah!
Now, you're probably wondering, Sturge, you're an idiot. The Mask isn't a good guy at all. Yes, you are correct. In the comics. See, there are different owners of the Mask, which changes their motivations to do bad deeds. The first owner, Stanley Ipkiss, wore the mask and transformed from a shy and meek banker to a charismatic and thieving supervillain, who later on fights crime. Whereas another character, Dorian Tyrell, actually turns into a villain with no change in personality. So, it makes sense why the movie and cartoon would make Stanley its main protagonist as a charming anti-hero. The Mask is pretty harmless. He only really trolls people who gets on his nerves, and protects Edge City from the supervillains that arise.
We'll see who's pulling whose strings, Geppetto.
Stop it. Get some help.
He's genuinely insane, but has the urge to not kill people or join baddies he knows can't be trusted. This Mask is more morally good than previous owners' personas, but still matches that wild loving energy.
I'm taking you down for the abduction of one Milo the dog. Oh yeah?
Try it.
If you want a good representation of a hero going their own path, not really sticking to their group, only using them as an advantage to propel themselves into a greater mission, look no further than the Spider-Verse franchise. While there are a ton of Spider-Men who fight crime in their own universe, most of them come together in the multiverse to create the Spider Society, a secret area in Miguel O'Hara's timeline to preserve the fabric of the multiverse. But there are a few cracks in the secret society that isn't always welcome to newcomers. They also don't really know that there is a traitor among them. Well, I guess not a traitor, more like an anarchist.
Alright, my name's Obi Brown. I was bitten by, wouldn't you like to know? Yeah, man. And for the last 3 years, I've been the one and only. Wait. You think I'm gonna show you my secret identity? Come out of it.
Hobie Brown, also known as Spider-Punk, is extremely devoted to break off all forms of authority, whether in his homeworld or in Nueva York, where the Spider Society is located. When he's not fighting fascists, he's pretty much keeping tabs on the society, something he very much disapproves of with their ideology of keeping the multiverse in wraps.
Bit of advice, use the palm, not just your fingers. What's up with your suit? Is he bleeding from his armpits?
He could have just not participated in their little club, but does so in order to protect Gwen if the society starts to crumble. Hobie also makes sure newcomer Miles doesn't get his hopes up as well, telling him to rebel against the idea of canon events and breaking the mold.
Just need to hold you a few days.
Sorry.
Everything about Hobie fits the glove of the chaotic good. His reactions to orders being given to him are very funny, but also show how much of a rebel he really is. Heck, Hobie steals a bunch of technology from the society to make his own personal dimensional watches, one where he gives to Gwen to follow the upcoming third movie. I can't wait to see what the third installment has in store for Spider-Punk, but just for the second movie in this franchise, he's worth fighting evil on his own terms.
You're not a joke. Absolutely completely unamusing. I don't believe in comedy. Just kidding.
Have you ever met someone who just shows so much independence, even with their certain capabilities like belonging to a rich family, or in a different direction, living with a disability? These capabilities don't weigh that person down, and can demonstrate how one doesn't need these capabilities to make them stand out. All you need is some blunt insight and an all-around roughness, and that's exactly what this Earthbender has in store.
There it is!
That's what it will sound like when one of you spots it.
Basically, everything I said in the beginning of this section qualifies for Toph. Kept away from the outside world from her rich parents due to her blindness, Toph found a way to see through the vibrations of the Earth and has since become an outstanding Earthbender. This later makes Toph Ain's new Earthbending teacher, and has become the first to master metal bending too.
There's a giant hole in the box. How is that a trick?
It's not. It's the real deal.
Toph doesn't really have a lot of morals per se, but this doesn't make her evil. That being said, she hates rules, really causing chaos everywhere the game meets. Surprisingly, in the sequel, Legend of Korra, Toph becomes the city's chief of police. Oh, don't worry, she breaks the rules, even as an elderly chief. A solid pick for this list.
I am not Toph. I am Melon Lord.
The world of South Park is embroiled in all sorts of weirdness. You've got aliens that just see through the background, Canadians that have these huge flaps for mouths, a magical talking piece of poo who loves Christmas, and, even more surprising, the adults on the show who seem to act more childish than the children themselves.
Dad, Mom says to stop trying to give yourself cancer.
Just gonna get a little bit of cancer, Stan. Tell Mom it's okay.
So, naturally, the kids are really the only sane people on the show, so that must mean that they're all good, right?
Shh, here comes Cartman.
Sup, homies?
What? What the fuck?
Well, that's not really the case, but still. There's a lot of good kids here, but which one kind of rebels and marches to the beat of their own drum? Well, there's Wendy, a smart kid who doesn't chase trends like her girl group of friends does. There's Kenny, who's really perverted and has a dirty mind, but is still one of the sweetest kids in South Park. I mean, do I have to mention his superhero persona Mysterion? But surprisingly, I picked a character that really feels like he doesn't belong in this alignment at all. Yet, it just makes sense.
I'm not one of them! Do you understand me? You better get that through your fat head! I will never be one of them, and if you say it again, I swear to God, I'll smash your fucking teeth in!
On the surface, Kyle really feels like a lawful neutral kind of character. He is the moral compass of his friend group, and is the most passionate when fighting for good causes. He's like the straight man fitting in with his best friend Stan, but he's also had his moments of getting into sticky situations and social issues before learning his mistakes.
Yeah, you know, I've learned something today. Family isn't about whose blood you have, it's about who you care about. Yeah, and that's why I feel like you guys are more than just friends. You're my family. Except for Cartman.
So, why chaotic good? Well, out of the four boys, while Kyle is academically smart and does have high morals, he is easily the most ill-tempered, as he gets frustrated constantly by the residents of South Park, and especially Eric Cartman.
Kyle, what the F? I'm gonna kill you, Cartman! Kyle, what? What'd he do? Why do I have HIV?
Kyle usually bases his position squarely on his personal sense of righteousness, and what he believes is the right choice. He may be the conscious of the group, but even he has a strong case of personal justice or vengeance, especially when Cartman is in the picture. And I mean, come on, we all know who's gonna win in a fight between these two.
Ow! Ow! Thank you, Dad.
Before we get to my number one of the most chaotic good animated character, here are a few honorable mentions.
Ants don't serve grasshoppers. It's you who need us.
One of these ants is not like the other. Flick is an inventor wanting to make a difference, with his weird contraptions getting his whole colony in trouble with the grasshoppers. He has a hard time fitting in with the other ants with his spontaneous disrespect to authority, and get rid of him when he suggests they hire bigger bugs to protect him.
I am the weirdo who sits next to you on the bus. I am the Swan Prince?
A self-centered superhero duck who likes to do things his own way, but he is a superhero after all, and when he gets dangerous, it's for the good of the city.
You know what? You should cancel that. Why don't you stick around and relax?
Huh?
I mean, it's just that, well, there's always a chance my arm could get broken. Or even destroyed.
Are you planning on destroying it?
Unlike his younger brother Al, Edward loves breaking the rules and demands respect and authority along with it. But he shares the same traits as Al too, as he constantly goes out of his way to help those in need.
Hey, this is kind of backwards, right? I used to be all about violence. Now it's like, I'm different.
Good old Finn. Being a teenager with a morphing dog for a best friend, living in a magical candy kingdom, that would make you a little hyperactive. Finn means well, but does get into a lot of trouble when doing the right thing.
Money! What are you doing with the stolen churro truck?
What truck?
El Tigre is an interesting one as we follow this kid going through the trials of his father and grandfather, persuading to use his powers for good or for evil. He lies and steals when the opportunity is handed to him, but still fights ruthless supervillains alongside his superhero dad, White Pantera. And now, here's my number one pick. Back in the 90s, there was a sort of a new alternative to the mainstream. Things were becoming a lot more mature, gritty, in your face. Things were becoming more ironic, with self-references and parodies of popular culture. And there were a lot of animated shows that filled that void. You had cartoons like Animaniacs, Family Guy, Ren and Stimpy, but probably the biggest one here is The Simpsons.
Homer, it's really coming down. Could you check on the boys?
They're fine.
pretty much a staple in the animation industry. The Simpsons were really big in the early 90s, when one of their most popular characters started a so-called mania due to their rebelliousness. Oh gee, I wonder who that could be. No, not Ned, although his freakout was pretty chaotic.
Bart Simpson? Bart Simpson? Bart Simpson? Bart Simpson, will you stop raising your hand? You haven't had one right answer all day.
Sorry.
Bart Simpson has been a cartoon staple, known for his underachiever status along with his back-talking, prank-calling, graffiti-targeting personality that just took the world by storm, and also with a bit of controversy down the line.
Bart's drinking coffee! It's not coffee, it's hot Pepsi.
Bart had a sense of rebelliousness and a laid-back attitude at the same time. Now look, probably back then, around seasons 1 through 3, Bart would be considered chaotic neutral, with all the pranks he would pull in school and at home. But really, this is what he aspires to be, because deep down, he's a good kid at heart, and usually feels guilt with the things he's done. And at times, he can actually be a sweet kid, to his sisters Maggie and Lisa, and to his mom Marge. Don't know about Homer though, there's kind of a reason the choking gag had to end at some point. There's kind of a reason Bart stands as the best animated character for this alignment. He's devious, hates school, irreverent, and also clever, but put him in a situation like stealing a game at a store, or sawing off the town statue, he's bound to have regret in his actions and shows remorse. He's pretty much the reason the 90s became so anarchic, and is why he takes the cake as the #1 chaotic good animated character.
I'll be wearing my underpants when that happens. Ew. And post. 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 Unpost! And post.
Alright, so we just knocked out the first row for the series. All good characters from lawful to neutral and now chaotic, which means we're now hitting the actual neutral characters next time. Let's see how that will play out. But until then, make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more of this alignment series. Take care, and I'll see you next time.